The San Antonio River is a vital resource to all that live in the San Antonio River Basin. It is a river with a thriving ecosystem and has brought life to civilization for over 12,000 years. It is a river that runs 240 miles from its headwaters in San Antonio, and its fresh water ends up in and supports the health of San Antonio Bay on the Gulf of Mexico. It is a river whose sustainability depends on the community that surrounds it. The San Antonio River Authority works to maintain safe, clean, and enjoyable creeks and rivers, but they cannot do it alone. The Watershed Wise Awards were created to honor the exceptional volunteers, professionals, and organizations that have dedicated their time to help fulfill the San Antonio River Authority's vision of inspiring actions for healthy creeks and rivers. We invite you to join us on a journey along the San Antonio River through Bexar, Wilson, Karnes, and Goliad counties to meet the San Antonio River Authority's 2019 Watershed Wise Award honorees who have been nominated by the River Authority's Board of Directors and staff. We hope their stories will help inspire and empower others to protect and preserve this vital resource. Our journey begins in San Antonio at Trinity University, where we meet our first Watershed Leader honoree, Dr. Richard Reed. Through his work and involvement as co-chairman of the San Antonio River Authority's Environmental Advisory Committee, he has helped advise the River Authority on efforts and projects designed to protect and preserve the San Antonio River. His leadership and passion for the environment will benefit many generations to come.
I began as an outsider on the Environmental Advisory Committee because I'm a neighbor. I'm a resident near the river. And so I became involved in some of the work on the museum reach, on the redevelopment of the museum reach. And as I got involved, I joined the Environmental Advisory Committee and ultimately spent enough time there, so for the last 6 years I've been the co-chair. The Environmental Advisory Committee is made up of stakeholders of the San Antonio River. So it's comprised of representatives all the way from the headwaters all the way down to the estuary. And it offers opinions and ideas and suggestions for what San Antonio River Authority should be doing. Well, the San Antonio River Authority has a full range of scientific and research laboratories that really help us monitor the quantity and the quality of water flowing through the San Antonio River. And so they're able to monitor everything from E. coli rates to heavy metals that are in the water. We review the reports coming out of the San Antonio River Authority and oversee some of the longer-term studies that are being done. The other part of our work is really to offer suggestions in terms of the long-term funding and planning that the board decisions make. The Environmental Advisory Committee is also important to the Clean Rivers program, which monitors water quality throughout the San Antonio River. The CRP maintains a series of monitoring stations that run all the way from the headwaters all the way down to the bay. And those monitoring stations are doing ongoing monthly studies of the quality of the water. I have two kinds of relationships with the San Antonio River. On one hand, I spend a lot of time with the river and I feel its energy, I listen to the sounds, I touch the water. I have a personal experiential relationship with it that is really central to my experience. But in addition, I'm a scientist. I'm an environmental scientist who does my work in terms of environmental protection. And so I feel deeply committed to the quality and the quantity of water in the river because it's keeping the whole estuary alive. The material that enters the San Antonio River in the city of San Antonio flows all the way through Karnes County down to the San Antonio Bay. And I have a deep investment in maintaining the quality of the water that flows through the river. I also would like to thank the San Antonio River Authority for the recognition it gives to people in the community, people like me, with a Watershed Wise Leader Award. It stimulates involvement from the community and helps protect the environment we depend on.
We now travel south to Wilson County, where we recognize the Wilson County Commissioners Court as watershed leaders for their dedication and efforts in promoting proper household waste management practices. The San Antonio River Authority holds household hazardous waste collection events together with the support of the Wilson County Commissioners Court to provide an opportunity for the community to properly dispose of waste, creating a safe, clean, and enjoyable environment.
My name is Albert Gomez. I'm a county commissioner for Wilson County Precinct 1. Been a commissioner for 19 years. And also my role in Commissioner's Court is I take part of the northwestern part of the county. And also my duties is for the whole county to make adjustments on what the county really needs for the future of the county. The Household Hazardous Collection event is a collection that the county supports twice a year. And what the event is you bring all kinds of hazardous materials to the county and we collect them at no cost to the county. The River Authority plays a big role with us on collecting hazardous material like paint, computers, TV appliance, even tires is a big event also. It makes me real proud to be working with them together because in a lot of events that are happening now, we never had them in the childhoods. So now the River Authorities comes to us or comes to Commissioner's Court and apply this that, you know, that we can make a big difference in the community. So that's the proud thing that I have for the community of Wilson County, to help out the people, because a long time ago we didn't have all this stuff coming up to Wilson County. It's real important to the community and everybody when they see the San Antonio River that we're cleaning it up and we don't see people dumping tires or hazardous material on the streets or anywhere, because anytime you have a rain off or something like that, everything goes to the river. It's making a big impact on the county, so I'm really thankful that the river authorities are doing all this. The way I see it, the involvement with the community now that we're having all these events, now they can go to the parks. And some areas you can go down by the river and go fishing, which a lot of people didn't used to do, ride canoes, kayaks, and all kinds of stuff. So now you have good events going on in our new parks that we have. So it is a big thing that to have those events, and people see it, that from now on, it is good to bring all those hazardous things to the events that the county has and the River Authority's partnership with us. So, I mean, it does help a lot. On behalf of Wilson County Commissioners Court, we want to thank the San Antonio River Authorities for this award.
Moving southward, we stop in Kennedy to honor Lucille Matthews and Glenna May with the San Antonio River Authority's Board of Directors Award. We applaud their efforts on the Kennedy Parks and Recreation Board and for their service on the Escondido Creek Parkway Oversight Committee. Their dedication is helping to bring connection and recreational opportunities to the people of Karnes County.
My name is Lucille Matthews, and I'm a member of the Parks and Recreation Board for the City of Kennedy.
I'm Glenna May, and I am also on the Parks Board, Kennedy Parks Board, and I've been a member of the board for 20 years. I think it's important to have parks because it gives people a place to go and be proud of. As you can see, the wildflowers and so forth, and I think the city of Kennedy is very proud of this park. I think the individuals in the city really appreciate it. The park is named after my father, and I brought Lucille out when I first got on the board. I brought her out to show her the park, and the playground was one swing set broken and a rusty slide. So we knew then the first thing we had to do was get a playground, and that's what we did.
I love to see when people are out here enjoying the park. So many times I will be out here and a busload of children will drive up and they all run to the playground, or some of them just run over to look at the baseball fields, and they all have a good time. That's just makes it all worthwhile to see people having fun.
So I think the whole Parks Board has inspired people to come out here individually, their friends and so forth. And one thing that inspires them to come out here is obvious today, all of the wildflowers and how well the people that work at the park take care of the park. They take everything very, very seriously, so we're very thankful for them.
This park is here because there was a real need for something like this where the whole community together. We wanted to have a place for everyone to come and enjoy. And I really believe that it will continue on. We have young people on the board, and we will continue to get more young people on our park, so it will continue.
Nature is always important, and it's obvious out here that the people that come and visit love nature, and they enjoy seeing the ponds, they enjoy seeing the flowers. There's just so much to enjoy out here.
The San Antonio River Authority helped us with the designing of this park, the designing of the walking trail and where different things would be. And now we're delighted that the Escondido Parkway, which will be located across the creek from here, will be joined with our park. There will be a bridge over the creek so people can go from one park to the other.
And then when we worked on the grant that we got, there was a man in Austin that we visited with a number of times, and we asked him, now, what do we need to do to get the money together? When we approach people, how do we ask them to donate to this? And he said, all you need is 2 little old ladies in white tennis shoes. On behalf of our Parks Board, we'd like to thank the San Antonio River Authority Board of Directors for this recognition and award.
Heading further south to Goliad, we meet our next Watershed Leader honoree, Councilwoman Robin Alanis. She is being recognized for her efforts to support the river as it flows through Goliad, including her extraordinary photography that demonstrates a new perspective in promoting outdoor education and recreation in the community.
I'm Robin Alanis. I've been on the City Council now for 4 years. Goliad has so much to offer. It's very important to me that people outside Goliad get to know more about Goliad. We have a deep history in Goliad that goes way back before being a major part in becoming Texas. It goes back to Spaniards, and before that, the Indians. But also nowadays, we have a lot that goes on here, a lot of events that go on here. The San Antonio River Authority takes a big interest in Goliad. I take advantage of every event they put on in this area. I love to come out and photograph events where people are doing things, because I think the more people see that, the more people can take part in that in the future. In between times, I like to take pictures of wildflowers, bugs, the river. I take pictures of the canoe trail, and other things I like to photograph around here are people. I like to do all our buildings, the architecture in the city, and just outside the city. We have the Presidio, we have the Mission, we have our beautiful courthouse that you see behind me. Yeah, my favorite event to capture is the Christmas in Goliad. The colors, the lights, the parade at night is beautiful. And then on Saturday during the events, we have Santa coming in on a reindeer. We have a longhorn steer that walks around the block, and it's just very unique. I started Goliad as I see it because I needed a place to put my archives of photos. I have tons of photos, and I filled up a couple hard drives already. So I decided I like sharing it with the community, so I put it up on Facebook and started sharing it. And my first event was a golf tournament for the Rotary Club. Well, the first day I had 150 people looking at my photos, and from then it just grew. The owner of the Square Gallery here, Gay Urban, she came up to me after I had stuff up for a few months, and she says, "I wish I could see Goliad like you see Goliad." And to me, that was the utmost compliment. I just wish that everybody could see what I see, that it is beautiful. We have lots to offer, but I use those photos now to share with Goliad and people that used to live here and people that maybe would like to live here to look at now and see what we have in our community. I'd like to thank the San Antonio River Authority for this award. I appreciate that they see that I am influencing people to come to Goliad, appreciate Goliad, and love Goliad as much as I do.
The last stop on this journey is in the Texas Coastal Bend. Our final Watershed Leader honoree, Rosario Martinez, is accepting on behalf of the Coastal Bend Bays and Estuaries program, which is dedicated to protecting and restoring the health and productivity of the bays and estuaries throughout the Texas Coastal Bend.
I grew up here in South Texas. I've grown up going to the beaches, just loving the outdoors, and it just seemed, I went to school to get a biology degree, and working with the estuary program has just been the best job. I love coming to work. We go out in the field and look at all the natural resources of the area and, we're striving to protect our local habitat. So the Coastal Bend Bays and Estuaries program is a stakeholder-driven nonprofit organization. We are one of 2 national estuary programs in Texas. So every year our projects are identified by our local stakeholders and priority focus areas, which include fish and wildlife, the habitat, water quality, public education, and so once those are prioritized, we implement these projects and again, work with our local stakeholders as well. Matagorda Island is a unit of the Aransas National Wildlife Refuge. At one point, the island was under private ownership. So back in the 1950s, a series of levees and ditches were constructed, and they were to basically drain the island and make it more suitable for cattle production. So once the island was acquired by the refuge system, they started implementing efforts to try to restore the marsh habitat by installing culverts. So throughout the years, a lot of the culverts were failing, they were clogged. So we formed a partnership with the Aransas National Wildlife Refuge. They were able to acquire grants through the Texas General Land Office. So what we did was we looked at aerials and saw where the greatest impacts and negative impacts were to the marsh habitat. So we went back and we installed new culverts or replaced culverts, or in some locations we removed sections of levees. And this was again to provide better water circulation throughout the island. So it becomes a better habitat for nursery grounds for fish, shrimp, crabs, and it just improves the whole ecosystem as a whole. Matagorda Island is the home to the largest wintering whooping crane population in the world. So people from all over come to the Aransas National Wildlife Refuge to see these whooping cranes. So it's great, and I've seen alligators out there, I've seen diamondback terrapins, which are these turtles. I've seen Texas horned lizards, and every time I see something awesome. So the Coastal Bend Bays and Estuaries program, the goal is to protect the bays and estuaries. So it aligns perfectly with the San Antonio River Authority, which is to protect the rivers and streams. This project wouldn't have been possible without partners. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and the Aransas National Wildlife Refuge, they were able to acquire a grant through the Texas General Land Office Coastal Impact Assistance Program. We also partnered with Coastal Conservation Association. So again, the estuary program couldn't have done this alone. Partners are very important, and we'd also like to thank the San Antonio River Authority for selecting us for this award.
We hope these stories have inspired you to join us to protect and preserve our watershed, to ensure our creeks and rivers will continue to be a source of life and enjoyment for generations to come. To learn how you can help keep our creeks and rivers safe, clean, and enjoyable, visit www.sara-tx.org. At SARA, our love of the river runs deep.
Hello, I'm Suzanne Scott, General Manager of the San Antonio River Authority, and I'd like to invite each of you to join us in our vision of inspiring actions for healthy creeks and rivers. There are many ways that you can help protect and preserve the river for generations to come. From picking up trash in your neighborhood, to becoming a watershed-wise warrior, or building a rain garden at your home or business to capture stormwater runoff. Visit the Watershed Wise section at SARA's website at sara-tx.org to learn how individuals, businesses, and organizations can play a role in protecting our watershed. Thank you for watching, and we hope you enjoy the rest of tonight's films.